Good morning, students. Welcome to the online classes of Science by RPS Group of Schools. Today, we will learn about Module 2 of the chapter Reproduction in Plants for Class 7th. In this Module 2, we will learn about vegetative propagation and we will learn about natural methods of vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation. A plant body has root, stem, leaves, and flowers. Root, stem, and leaves are vegetative parts, and flowers form the reproductive parts of a plant body. In most of the flowering plants, new plant comes from the seeds. But there are many plants which are able to produce new plants without the formation of seeds. Seeds are not always essential for plants to grow. In vegetative reproduction, morphologically and genetically identical offspring is produced. There are two methods of vegetative propagation: natural method of propagation or artificial or induced method of propagation. Natural methods of vegetative propagation. Vegetative organs such as roots, stems, and leaves bear adventitious buds and bring about the formation of new plants. These structures are also called vegetative propagules. Root tubers. Some modified tuberous roots can be propagated vegetatively when planted in soil. The buds present on the roots grow as leafy shoots called slips above ground and adventitious roots at their bases. Each slip gives rise to a new plant. Example: sweet potato, tapioca, yam, dahlia, and tinospora are some examples of root tubers. These are called root tubers and become swollen due to stored food in them. In asparagus and dahlia plants, the roots are swollen and they store food. They also bear buds towards the stem to which they are attached. New plants come out of buds when the swollen tuberous roots are placed in the soil. These buds survive on the stored food in tuberous roots when they are out of soil or kept under storage. Modified stems. Vegetative propagation occurs through stems when new plants arise from the nodes. These are nodes where buds are formed, which grow into new plants. Buds form at the nodes later develop into the roots and shoots, resulting in the formation of a new plant. The underground and subaerial stems are especially modified for vegetative propagation. Underground modified stem called tuber. Stem tuber is a swollen tip of an underground lateral stem stolon. It is covered with a number of small depressions called eyes. Each eye represents a node bearing one or more buds. Potato is the most common tuber largely used as food. The lower part of the potato gets covered by the earth where the adventitious branches grow. It does not contain adventitious roots. These are largely used as food and grow very slowly. Another underground modified stem is bulb. The bulb is the round, swollen part of the underground stem. Within the bulb lies the organ for vegetative propagation, such as the central shoot that grows into a new plant. Bulbs have a bud surrounded by layers of fleshy leaves. Few examples of bulb are onions, garlic, tulips, etc. Underground modified stem in the form of rhizome. A rhizome, also known as root stalks, is a type of plant stem situated either at the soil surface or underground that contains nodes from which roots and shoots originate. Rhizomes are unique in that they grow perpendicular, permitting new shoots to grow up out of the ground. When separated, each piece of a rhizome is capable of producing a new plant. The primary function of the rhizome is the storage of nutrients until the plant requires them for the growth of new shoots or to survive the winter in a process termed vegetative reproduction. Subaerial modifications of stems. Subaerial stems are the stems that do not rise up but grow just above the ground, often develop roots and leaves from their nodes. In these kinds of plants, the stem is partly above the ground and partly below the ground. These are modified into runner. Runner is a creeper that runs horizontally on the surface of the soil. The nodes have scale leaves, adventitious roots, and auxiliary buds. Runners arise from the auxiliary buds. A large number of runners are produced by a mother runner in all directions. Runners break off and grow into an independent plant, giving rise to vegetative propagation. Examples are strawberry and cynodon. Another example of subaerial modification of stems are sucker. It arises from the basal part of the main stem. Before separating from the original plant, it develops adventitious roots and leafy shoots. It moves horizontally under the soil for a distance and then grows obliquely upwards. The example is mint or mentha. Stolon is another example of subaerial stem. These grow aerially for some time and then bend downwards to touch the ground. Here, the terminal bud gives rise to a new stem and adventitious roots. Stolon arises from the base of the main stem. Example is jasmine. Another very interesting subaerial stem is offset. It is shorter and thicker and is found in aquatic plants. It originates from the axis of the leaf and grows horizontally. Example is pistia. The leaves are produced above and the adventitious roots below. It is a short runner with one internode in length. Vegetative propagation by leaf. Normally, a leaf does not bear buds, but in plants like Bryophyllum and Begonia, buds come out along the margin of a mature leaf. These buds grow and also bear roots. Each bud gives out a new plant. For this reason, this plant of Bryophyllum is also called as sprout leaf plant. These plants have adventitious buds coming out from the notches of the leaves, and these buds develop into new plants. That's all for this module 2. We'll join you soon with another module. Till then, goodbye.